Well, good morning, everybody. It's been another busy week. I've been busy most of the lockdown period. I've been catching up on those outdoor jobs that have been waiting. Some have been waiting for 1 year. Some have been waiting for 5. This week I finished a job that had been waiting at least 10 years. 75 years ago, the world was waiting. It was emerging from a period of waiting. Millions of people waiting for peace. And this Friday, we celebrated the anniversary of the arrival of that peace. One job I haven't completed yet, I've been waiting for rain really, is that of transcribing my father's war diaries. Dad didn't mention VE Day at all as such. Seems to have just passed him by. Nevertheless, he was waiting. He was waiting for a plane. So this is a photo of my dad. I guess it was taken in 1943, but between January 1944 and May 1945, he was actually in Germany. And all he could do then was wait for peace. 75 years ago today, he was waiting for a plane. This day and this exact time, 10:30 in the morning, marks the 75th anniversary of my dad's flight home from Germany. He was in a Dakota at this moment, 75 years ago, en route to France. And he arrived in England having passed through a cloud of delousing powder in early evening. On this day, 75 years ago, his prisoner of war ID card expired. It was the last day he was in lockdown. On this day, his parents received the news that he was home. And early the next morning, they sent a telegram to his future wife. My mother, I don't know if you can make it out, all it says is Peter in England. It was the telegram that was the first sign for them of a new normal. He's in England. He's home to a shattered country and economy, to rationing, to a nation full of grief at the loss of so many treasured sons, fathers and brothers, and daughters, wives and mothers. Home to a nation that's still at war. But that was only part of his new normal. He's home. In his new normal, there would eventually be a home for them, family, the veterinary work he loved, a new future. The passage that Julia read is a favourite passage of mine. It speaks so eloquently of what we, the church, are called to be. Did you notice? We're called to be together. We're called to be living stones. We're called to share good news. Once you were not a people, but now you are God's people. We are the church. It's not about individuals, about me or you alone. It's about us. We're called to share this good news together, and the world needs good news right now. Because although it's nothing like the same scale as the end of the war, we're not so far removed from the world on that VE Day. The economy is shattered. Many people are mourning the loss of loved ones. Many people will mourn the loss of opportunity, of employment, of a business. Out of that shattered economy at the end of the war grew the organisation that we now know as Christian Aid. And this is the start of Christian Aid Week. We'll be thinking more about it next week. But on this Sunday, 75 years ago, British churches raised £85,000 to help European churches meet the needs of their people. And that contribution evolved into Christian Aid. So more than ever this week, Christian Aid and the people they support need our support. So don't please let that pass by. I've got one more picture. I've shown you this picture before. In the 1980s, my father met the German fighter crew who shot him down. It was cathartic for him, but it helped him come to terms with the death on that January night in 1944 of his co-pilot. He and the German crew were able to meet in peace that day, because VE Day wasn't just about the one day we've commemorated this week. It was about building a lasting peace. And that generation did build peace. This is the longest period in history without a war between nation states in Europe. The new normal that emerged has so far ensured that the world isn't again engulfed by war, even though peace is for many a distant prospect. In his prisoner of war journal, Dad made a list of things to look forward to. It included, in no particular order, it included freedom, privacy, beans on toast, and female company. He, with thousands of other prisoners of war, came home wanting to make the world a better place. And we honour them when we do that. We honour them when we together play our part in ensuring that the new normal that emerges from this crisis is one in which there is less exploitation of people and of planet, and more equity. We honour them when we together play our part as the people of God, bringing peace, hope, light, the light of Christ to the world. Amen.
Amen.